So our influence has less to do with our position or title than it does with the life we live. The life we live is a ministration to everyone around us. People desire to connect with us because of the life we live. It's not about position, but production. It is not about position, but productions. I had a story about a young man who said he has so much admired a very successful CEO and that he would like to be like him. And he asked himself, what can I do to connect with him? And one day he wrote a letter for employment. They said there's no vacancy. And he said, I would like to be, even if it's a messenger in that office. And when the CEO heard that there's a man, a young guy who is insisting that he wants to work, anything he's ready to do. So the man said, okay, ask him to come. And he told him that you will just be sitting around the office and be cleaning and be waiting on any assignment that is given to you. He said, okay, sir. And that was the beginning of his journey. Even when he is tired, when he remembered his vision, he said, tiredness is not my portion. I must get to where I'm going. And that was it. So one day the CEO stayed very late, around after 12, because he normally asks his staff, they can go, apart from his driver and all that, then the security people who are waiting for him. And then he needed somebody to do photocopy for him after 12, midnight. And he assumed there was nobody. So he just walked out of his office. Lo and behold, this young man still sitting at the place. He said, haven't you gone? He said, no, sir, I'm waiting until you leave. He said, but I told you people I can go. I said, my assignment is to wait until you leave. The man said, go and make photocopy for me. And that was the beginning of his successful story. At the end of that day, the following day, the man said, I think this young man needs to be given more assignments because he can be trusted. I'm sure some of us might have heard about FAT. Faithfulness, availability, teachable. That's usually the vehicle with which people rise to greater positions. That was the beginning of this young man's journey. The young man rose in that organization to become a general manager. And when the man needed another executive director, he said, that is the man. You can trust him. You can depend on him. He will always be available, and he's teachable, and he's faithful. That, I believe, will be our portion. The key word is credibility. We gain credibility when our lives matches our talk. We gain credibility when our lives matches our thoughts. It's not enough to say some things, but what kind of life are you living? It might be in your career, it might be in your business. Sometimes we just say, after all, how much are they paying me? I've been coming here for this business, they haven't done anything. Why should I be wasting my time? God's time, usually not our own time. His ways are not our ways. And as a child of God, when you are consistent with him and you trust him, he will always show himself mighty on your behalf. But you may not know when he's going to do it. That is why you will live ready. There's a very servant of God, whenever I see him, he says, Apostle Ike, he said, always live ready. Always live ready. Because turnaround can come at any time. Are you ready for it? That is life. We gain credibility when our life matches our talk and when both add value to others. Add value to others. Engagement is not enough. Relating with others are not enough. Are you adding value to that relationship, to that connection? Because adding value leaves you in the heart of that person, leaving an indelible mark. Whenever they think about things that relates with you, they will remember you because you are adding value to their lives. In the words of Proverbs 17 verse 2, it's better to be a wise slave than a foolish son. Sometimes some of us, because we are privileged to come from a family where maybe our parents are really doing well, we lose sight of upgrade. We lose sight of upgrade. A CEO called me on Friday complaining about a child, a lady, and he said, I thought that this lady could add value. He said, but the problem is that she assumed that she is here to earn salary. But my thought was her coming in is to help her add value to her life, at the same time add value to the organization. We are all working somewhere or we're doing business. Ask yourself, very crucial question this morning, is am I adding value where I operate? If you cannot answer that question positively, then there is a challenge. It means you need behavior modification that can make a difference to your life. So I want us to be able to look at, answer these few questions as we begin to walk through this very short discussion. The first one is the consistency. Are you the same person no matter who is with you? Consistency. Are you the same person no matter who is with you? Some people will say that my behavior is dependent on the people around me. If they are my friends, I can grow wide. If they are not my friends, I can be calmer. I can be, if I don't know people around, I just, that kind of a thing. Consistency. Consistency. It makes so much difference. I can say, I can predict how the bishops are going to act in every situation. For the few times I've been with them in various situations, as it were, I can also predict myself how I will react in every situation. Is it consistent? How you behave? Do you change depending on the people around you? There's a man who wanted to upgrade his business, and fortunately he got a quotations to handle a business. And the day they were supposed to sign the contract, unfortunately for him, the niece of the executive chairman of that company came to see his uncle. And this niece has known this man. They worked together in an organization, and she knows the inconsistent nature of this man, that you can't trust him with money. You can't trust him with money. And she went in to see her uncle, and sat down. Her uncle said, oh, there's a document I'm trying to, we're supposed to sign today. Very big money that can change the life of that man. So the niece said, what is it, uncle? He said that this man, Mr. So he mentioned, the niece said, Mr. what, sir? The name he mentioned. I said, I know him. We all work together. That useless man. That bad guy. That man cannot be trusted. The uncle said, wait. Let me call the name again. He called the name again. He said, I know him very, very well. We worked together. We worked together about almost over 10 years. He said, uncle, that man cannot be trusted. I hope he's not the one you want to give business. He will almost run away with you, or he do jobs that are not substantial. The uncle said, okay. So when the man came for a meeting, they asked him to sit in the boardroom, and he sat down. The uncle came with 3 other directors to meet with him and all that, with his own team. He came. So the man was ready to get the business done. And the uncle came and said, oh, you are Mr. So he said, yes. Did you work in this place? He said, yes, I worked there for over 10 years. Fantastic. How was the experience in that place? He said, beautiful, sir. He said, great. Do you know so person? He said, yes, she was one of the staff. We're all colleagues in that place. He was my junior and all that. Okay. Okay, you worked in the same division. He said, yes, I know her very well. She knows me very well. The uncle said, okay, that's very good. Okay, gentlemen, let's look at it, do this business we want to do. They were going through. When they finished to sign, the uncle said, unfortunately, I do not think you have the character and consistency that is required for us to give you this business. So on that basis, I'm not approving this business. The man said, okay, what did I do? He said, when you worked in this place where you worked, everybody knows they are not trustworthy, they are not consistent, and that was the end of that business. So it's important, consistency is important, because you don't know who is looking, you don't know who is with you. Choices. Another one will look at choices. Do you make decisions based on how they benefit you or others? Do you make decisions based on how they benefit you or others? Some of us are in privileged positions. And when it comes to decision making, we look at how it can benefit me or somebody I know and all that. Even if somebody I know is not around, we try to connect them. There's a story of my wife's senior sister who happened to be an architect. And there was a big project they wanted to do, and she runs a very big company of hers, and people were asked to send drawings and all that, and she did her drawings, and that very day, because it's a big organization, she decided to go herself in case if there's immediate decision to be taken, she can, since it's her company. So when she got there and submitted, there's the manager who is in charge. She saw her design and said, beautiful, but madam, you will only get this business if you give us 20%. She smiled. She said, I'm a Christian. I don't need this project to survive. I'm already doing well. If giving you 20% is all to make me get this business, I don't need it. Unfortunately for him, while he was talking, the white man passed and saw the design and said, this is beautiful. And looked at it and said, okay, no problem, when we meet, when we deliberate on that, and then passed. When she left, this man removed that drawing amongst the other ones. And at the time they were meeting, they met, they were all looking at it. The white man said, this is not complete. There's a drawing I saw this morning. Where is it? He said, no, this is all. Mr. Jordan, can you go and get that drawing I saw this morning? If you still need your job. Mr. Jordan said, probably he left it among the ones when he was carrying it. He went and brought the drawing. And that was how the job was given to her. God is faithful. When you honor God wherever you are, he will honor you. God will honor you. He is never late. He is never late. Because in consistency lies the power. I've seen so many things in my career life that I've seen God work in a way that when you look at it, you know this is God in action. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. God is always there. Even when people challenge, I say, no, you're not going to be there because you're always Christian, Christian, Christian. I say there's no problem. But the thing is that the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and all that's in, including yourself. If God wants me to be here, he will remove you. There's no inconsistency about it. He will remove you. And it happens different times. That people said, oh, Ike is the one sacking me. I don't sack people. I don't sack people. But God removes you when you decide to be a problem or a stumbling block to his son. That is God we serve. Credit. Are you quick to recognize others for their efforts when you succeed? Are you quick to recognize others for their efforts when you succeed? It's a very common thing. You are in an organization or you are in business, and people are telling you, oh, you are doing very well, successful, and this and that. There are people, team, that worked with you. I was speaking somewhere, and I belonged to one fellowship where I also had, and one of the senior pastors said, Ike, you and your wife, you people are doing very well. I said, oh, guys, it's not me. It is the people that are working with us. Because without them, we can't do anything. It's easy for you to take the credit to yourself alone. But God is watching. It doesn't matter your level. You must be able to give credit to those who are working with you. Character. Do you work harder at your image or your integrity? Do you work harder at your image or your integrity? Simple definition of integrity. Doing something whether people are watching you or not. You are doing the right thing. You are doing the right thing. Character is very important to all of us. Are you easily influenced because of what you feel you can gain? It's very important that we are consistent, because in consistency lies the power. That was a story of my little journey in career. Incidentally, I was assistant general manager in charge of admin and human resources, and there was this lady, very fine, beautiful lady, who came and works under me. She was a manager, and along the line, she thought there was going to be a relationship. There was no relationship, which she didn't like. So she started connected with the CEO, and she said, if you don't want relationship, I will deal with you. You know? But you see, when you lose sight of who God is, it makes a difference. And she did everything and told that man, the only thing I want is to sack Ike. The guy said, it is done. So one day I traveled, I came back as I was, all the directors were about. They said, it's because of Ike they were talking about. And I went off shared duty outside the country, and I came in. They said, okay, Ike, hold on, we're going to have. Then one of the directors came in, who is very, very influential, And he said, wow, we're all sitting down for a meeting. They say, Ike, the chairman, they want Ike removed. What is the reason? There was no reason. He says, you people, that's the problem I have with all of you. You don't know the right and quality person that adds to this business we are doing. He said, I go, we don't need you. That was the turnaround. And before you know it, the lady was frustrated out of the company. God is always faithful. Trust him, because in consistency lies the power. Amen?